Hello. Let's see. All right, all right. Welcome everybody. Today we're going to break down this whole, let me wipe off the screen a little bit. How you guys doing today? This is Keon Corneff, also known as Mr. Finance. And today we're going to break down what is this retirement plans that they like to tell us. They never really break down things to us. They just give us these things and say, hey, take that, right? It's almost like they diddy us, you know what I mean? So one of the things that I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about what people love to call retirement plans. What does that mean? What is that really all about? Get some better understanding to it. So as I gather here my pen so I could break down this thing to you guys. It's not going to be that long. It's going to be quick. It's going to be easy. It's going to be simple. By the time you walk away from here, you will know where you stand as far as a retirement plan. Now, here's my thing. There's three things that was created, right? And like I said, I'm going to break it down. Have you guys ever heard the impression or the word where they used to say the three-legged stool? Right? And the book I'm reading from, just so you guys know, I'm using the Saving Your Future book. And this is the book of choice that I always use. And I'm going to show you where all the information is. It's in this book. If you need a copy of this book, please contact me. Please send me a message or give me a text message at 973-873-5977. So let's break it down. What is the three-legged stool, right? Now, the three-legged stool is consisted of three things, right? When it comes down to retirement, we always had to get like a pension, right? Companies used to give us pensions. And as we go along further on, I'm going to explain the difference. They used to give us pensions. We'd have Social Security. And then we have our personal savings. That was the three-legged stool. That was the ideal retirement plan for the American people, to make sure that we have money and we never run out of money at time when we need it the most. So now, that was a plan that worked very well for quite a while. And when they did these plans, it was to make sure that people will have money after old age, because I don't think we should prepare to work all our lives, right? There should come a time where we get to enjoy ourselves, enjoy our family, enjoy our kids, and reflect as they go along. So here's what they say here. Self-security, right? The traditional pillars, right? We're going to talk about the traditional pillars that I just talked about. It says that the traditional pillars of retirement are now in doubt. And I'm going to explain why. 38 million Americans are currently living paycheck to paycheck. I repeat that. 38 million Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Let's talk about our company's pensions. The good old days, right? The good old days of pensions are now disappearing in North America. In the US, companies now offer what is called a 401k and few match contributions, right? Pensions is taken away and being replaced by 401ks. And many people got sold into this business or into this system of where they think, for a second, they think that a 401k is better than a pension. It also says here, many companies, right, have been moving away from defined contribution plans that leaves investment risks with the workers, right? So they've moved away from defined benefit plans, They have moved away from defined benefit plans that provide a known retirement amount to a defined contribution plan that leaves the investment risk with the workers. So That's how retirement is broken down. It's broken down into two categories. It's either you have a defined benefit plan or a defined contribution plan, and we're going to break down these two differences. And it's important that you know the difference so that way you know if you have the right retirement plan for you, yourself, and your family. So let's really break down into it. Remember we talked about those three things, the three-legged stool, right? Your personal savings, your pension, and Social Security. Let's talk about it a little bit. Government programs, Social Security. In the 1940s, for every retiree, there was over 440 Americans, workers contributing to their Social Security. So let me give you some understanding. One person retired. There was 40 people working to fund Social Security. Today, this number has shrank to roughly 3 per retiree. So there's really, because look at it. You know, right now our unemployment rate is so high. And many of us are struggling to even find a good job or even to keep a job. So there's not enough being funded in Social Security to continue that whole theory of the three-legged stool. So this balance will put increasing pressure on the government's ability to sustain Social Security and provide the benefit to seniors who are living longer and require more support. Due to the fact that people are living longer today, it's some of the reason why they even fall back and taken away from being in a pension program anymore, and they replace a pension program with the 401ks programs, right? So here's the thing that I'm going to talk about right now, right? Actually, I'm going to read this passage for you. It says that more than ever, people need to change their thinking of Social Security to self-security. You must fund your own retirement. You can't depend on the union, your employer, or the government. You must take charge of your financial future and develop a new financial habits. That's what's happening. Because here's what happened recently, right? If you go on the Social Security website and if you ever receive one of their brochure, it clearly tells you do not let Social Security be your only source of income. It tells you that. If you go on their website, they even tell you about the fact that Social Security be exhausted in a certain year in the 2035s up. It told you this. It's not hidden secrets. This is facts. So when you feel that Social Security is going to be around for you, us millennials, we're in trouble, and Generation X. We're in trouble. And if we don't get our acts together, we're going to experience the worst things that ever happened to us. So let's turn to taxes, which will be on page 18 in your blue book. I always tell people, if you understand taxes, you'll know where to put your money. Because there's 3 ways you get taxed on your money in America. Get taxed now, later, and never. But the ones I'm going to talk about today, since we're on the topic of retirement, I'm going to talk to you about the later, because that's where we get taxed for retirement. Now, here's the theory. And let me tell you which one of these vehicles that they use for tax later vehicles. Tax later, which is also known as tax deferred, are vehicles that are 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, SEP IRAs, annuities, and pensions. These vehicles are what they like to call tax deferred vehicles, and they're also used for retirement. So now we understand what tax later vehicles are. Let's break down the theory of where they say we're going to tax you later on and what that really truly means. So when they say they're going to tax you later, this is what they mean. If you didn't know, they saying that if you started saving $100, right? You start out with $100. They're not going to tax you on the $100 now, right? Now let's fast forward later, right? To where that $100 became $100,000. What they're saying is that they're going to tax you later, not on the 100 that you started with, but on the 100,000 that it grew to, or whatever amount that it grew to. Now, here's two things I want you to keep in mind. Do you understand what the market will do? Can you ever predict what the market will perform? And here's another thing. Can you predict what taxes will be later on? Can you predict that? Can you guarantee what taxes will be later on? Those are two things or three things that you have to keep in mind when it talks about tax later. Right? You start off with $100. Later comes, it grows to 100,000. They're going to tax you on this part, not here. Let's break it down what it really means. What is tax later? Now, tax later means that the money you put in is pre-tax money. Pre-tax money deposited in an account is money that you have not yet paid income tax on, but you'll definitely be paying taxes later when you withdraw it. These accounts are also called tax deferred. Tax deferred in the U.S. accounts commonly take the forms of IRA, 401ks, and 403bs. In the U.S., when you begin to take your money out after 59 and a half, you'll be taxed at ordinary income tax rates. But if you take your money out before 59 and a half, you will get a 10% penalty with a few exceptions in addition to taxes. Also, you can't keep money there forever. You must start withdrawing it when you reach 70 and a half or pay a 50% penalty. So you're telling me if you fail to don't take out the money before 70 and a half, and nowadays people are working into their 70s. We know a lot of people that retire and they still go back to work, right? But here's the thing that many of us don't know. Most of these tax later accounts are designed this way. However, some tax later accounts are tax deferred, right? Tax deferred, but not tax deductible. For example, the money you put in a non-qualified annuity or a non-deductible IRA after tax money, which is non-deductible. The tax only applies to the gains at the withdrawal, which has been tax deferred. So we just got a little insight of that, right? Now you learn that you can't even keep money there forever. Now you learn that the fact that if you keep money there and don't withdraw it before 70 and a half, they're going to penalize you 50%. If you take out the money before 59 and a half, they're going to penalize you 10%. Plus, every money that comes from this is considered ordinary income tax, as if you're still working. Plus, it comes with fees, management fees, all type of fees that are associated with this type of vehicle, right? So we look at these vehicles and say, wow, I thought this thing was a retirement plan. I thought this was a retirement plan. I thought this was the best thing for me. Are you kidding me? Why is this? Why do we get stuck with these plans? Who benefit from these plans? Who is this thing really benefiting? Why is it not benefiting the people? Why is it not benefiting our parents? If you ever want to look and see how these plans have played out, look at your parents. Look at your grandparents. Pay very close attention. And you'll see. Don't believe me? Look at the suicide rates in 2001 and 2008 when the market crashed. Or in proper term, they like to say recorrect itself. I want you to look at those days, right? So let's break down what is the retirement plan. It's on page 68 in the book. Retirement plans. Remember I told you that retirement plans is broken down into two categories? It's either a defined benefit plan or a defined contribution plan, right? So let me give you some understanding of what I mean. Now, retirement plans falls into two basic categories, like I mentioned, which are defined benefit plan or defined contribution. Defined benefit plan, also known as a traditional pension, it pays a retiree a specific benefit based on the years of service and salary level until they die. In some cases, the payout will continue for the spouse or beneficiary. To put simply, they're called defined benefit plan because you know what you're going to get when you retire. You hear that? You know what you're going to get when you retire. This plan is quite costly for the employer. Most companies have dramatically scaled back on these plans or eliminate them altogether. That's what happened to our pension plan. Because remember I told you that people are living too long earlier? That's the reason why your company, if you have a 401k, that's the reason why. That company don't want to put themselves in a position where they have to pay money out for too long and it could drive them bankrupt. Now, is that fair? Is that right? So now we had to settle for something called defined benefit plan. And one of the guys that helped create these plans was a gentleman named Ted Benner. Ted Benner is one of the fathers of the 401k plan. When he was asked to design a tax write-off, it was used to get companies tax write-off. That's what 401ks are for. It's a great way to help companies get tax write-offs, right? Because here's what it says. Defined contribution plans are always also known as an IRS tax code. It is known by their IRS tax code like a 401k and 403bs and etc. Defined contribution plans allow employee to make pre-tax contribution to their own retirement account. So remember what we talked about pre-tax money is? It's money that you not pay taxes on yet, right? So employers may make matching contribution up to a certain amount. Your employer serves as a plan sponsor. Your company has to sponsor you this thing. They have to enroll you. You ever call someone up at your job and ask them about your 401k, then they patch you over to the financial company? Because here's what happened. Your employer serves as a plan sponsor and has another company administer the plan and its investments. This plan administrator is typically a mutual fund company, a brokerage firm, or an insurance company. You are responsible for the investments of your money by choosing investment options in the plan. Contribution limits are set every year to adjust to the high cost of living. So they want you, the uneducated, don't know much about which plan is best for you, to make a choice of which investment options to choose to prepare your retirement for you later on. Just to give you some understanding about what is a 401k, 403bs, and 457s. It says here, a 401k is essentially a retirement savings account which offer tax advantages. It doesn't have the lifetime payout like your pension plans. 403bs is similar to a 401k, but it's available only by employees of tax-exempt organizations like schools. Remember what I said? Tax-exempt organizations like a school, a hospital, and a religious organizations. Also, 457 plans is generally have similarities to 401ks and available to state and local public employees to a certain nonprofit organization. So just to recap a little bit so you understand. Defined contribution plan invests with pre-tax contribution. Thus, withdrawing money before 59 and a half will be subject to early withdrawal penalties with some exceptions, which is their own exceptions. And of course, all distribution will be taxed at ordinary income. These plans are called defined contribution because you know what you put in, but you won't know what you may get when you retire due to the market fluctuation. Your money is tied to the market. So if the market does good, you make money. If the market does bad, you lose money. These are things that people don't know. And we got to understand this. If you don't take the time to understand money and learn about finance, we're going to be in trouble. If you want to learn more, you want to get better understanding, you want to learn how to make your money work better for you and create your own retirement plan where you get tax-free withdrawals, tax-free loans, tax-deferred earnings, and you also get the protection away from lawsuits, garnishments on your money, and you want to know how to give your family your legacy and pass it on to them tax-free to avoid probate, contact me. I promise you, you will learn something. And you know what? We educate before any decisions is made because I believe in education. Financial education is the purest, truest education that is not talked about. There's only 4 states in America that teach people about finance, and they're not teaching our states that it's the financial capital of the world on the East Coast. So that's why we've been bamboozled. That's why we've been tricked. And that's why we're retiring poor. My name is Keon Corniff. My name is Mr. Finance. And if you want to get your money game up and you want to get some deeper understanding about our retirement plan, you give me a call. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And definitely comment below and tell me how much this video helped you out. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.